Hey guys, I'm back today, and today I want to do a collab that I wasn't actually invited to do because it took place about a year and a half ago, but I tend to find YouTube channels that I really enjoy, and then I go back and watch their whole history of things, and then I get excited about the videos that they're going to post soon. So I was doing this on a couple of channels, and I saw that several of them participated in a collab last year, like I said, about a year and a half ago actually, that was called Money Stories, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it consisted of a series of 5 questions, and I just found some of the stories fascinating, so I wanted to go ahead and jump in even though I'm very late to the party. If you guys are interested, you can do a YouTube search and you'll find plenty of these videos. And it was started by a channel called The Not So Ordinary Wife, but I believe she had a rename to her channel. I found her a little bit late, but I think it might be Jamie's Simple Plan or Simple Life now. I will find the channel and link it below because I do want to, give kudos to the one who kicked this off. So the first question in this series of 5 questions is, what is the best money decision you ever made? And so I will say that my best money decision was paying off my student loans early. I had a lot of student loan debt, and my husband and I made a very conscious decision to pay it off early, right before our daughter was born. The reason for that was because, quite honestly, I had so much student loan debt that my repayment plan was like $600 a month. And we realized after we worked through our budget that there probably wasn't going to be a way for us to afford childcare and make those student loan payments. So we ended up coming into some windfall money that we had wanted to spend on a house. But in the end, we decided to pay off my student loans. And I look back on that and I'm really proud of that decision because this was prior to us finding Dave Ramsey and prior to us being very focused in our finances. We were kind of just like humming along. We weren't very conscious in many of our financial decisions. That was one where we put thought into it, and I think in the end we made the right choice. So the next question is, what is the worst financial decision you've made? And not long after we had our daughter, we were debt-free except for a couple of things. The mortgage, and I think at that time we had a car payment too. So really, in order for us to maintain our credit, or at least this was the argument we gave ourselves, in order for us to maintain our credit, we allowed ourselves to use credit cards we had paid off. And it was just small things here and there. But over the period of 3 years, those small little charges added up to $8,000. And actually, right before we found Dave Ramsey, we just paid them off for the second time. So it's probably really good that we found Dave Ramsey when we did, because we might have made that credit card mistake again. But at this point, we are pretty determined to live a debt-free life going forward. But I cringe to think that we paid off so much credit card debt, and then just through sloppiness, really no other excuse than sloppiness, we let it grow to $8,000 again. And, thankfully it's gone now. What is the most embarrassing financial situation you were in? For me, that was when I was in college. I was completely irresponsible with money. I was living paycheck to paycheck on a day-to-day. I can't even say paycheck to paycheck because this story is going to prove to you that I didn't even last that long. There was an instance where I was in a position during college where I had to ask someone for food. My parents did help me out through college, but I was living on my own. I had an apartment. I had a job. I was going to school full time. And my parents were giving me grocery money every month, but I was just kind of willy-nilly with it. And I used some of my grocery money to go out and party, as not so smart college kids often do. And I came into a position where I was, I think, like 3 days shy of payday, and I only had a little bit of food in the house. So that was gone in a couple of days, and I had one day where maybe it was 2 days. I mean, this was a while ago. I don't totally remember. But I do remember being in a position where I hadn't eaten for like a day and a half and I was ravenous, and I asked a friend to get me food because I was that poor. And thank goodness for my friend, she totally came through, but it was a very embarrassing position to be in. So luckily I've never been there since, but I often do when I see like homeless or people or somebody like that asking for money, even if I don't have money to give, I will sometimes, like I don't have cash to give, I will sometimes go and purchase them a meal just because I can remember that. What is the stupidest thing I've ever spent money on? And for that, I would have to say one of my luxury handbags. I have a few. I do love them. I do believe in buying really good quality and buying less, better things less often. But I do have a Gucci handbag. It is a tote. It is gorgeous. It really is a beautiful bag, but it is completely inappropriate for the season of life I'm in. Not only because I purchased it before I was debt-free, but also because it's made with a very, very soft Nubuck leather, and I have 2 small children. Furthermore, I mean, you can't take it out in bad weather, and the color of it is kind of lends itself to spring and summertime where we have a lot of afternoon showers being so close to the mountains. So really, I bought a bag that I've used all of 2 times for a ridiculous sum of money, and it's just stupid. I mean, it really genuinely is dumb. I can't believe I did it. Obviously, I did it in a fit of emotion and excitement because I saw the bag, I had the cash, and I was excited, so I did it. And then, you know, after I received it and I realized how delicate the bag was, I found that I wasn't using it. And I actually did try to consign it back, but they wanted to give me about half of what I paid for it. And I just wasn't prepared to take that big of a hit on it because I do love the bag. Anyway, I'll just stop there, but please know, luxury items, I always encourage people now to have sort of like a love affair with the device or the toy or the bag or the clothing in your head, and imagine yourself using it. Imagine yourself owning it. And do this for a period of time before you go and purchase the item, because what I have found since this one last purchase is that a lot of times the love affair will fade before I even make the purchase. I'll imagine myself using it and it'll be really exciting for a week. And then by the second week, it's like, okay, well now I kind of know I don't know what it's like to actually own it, but I've imagined it, and it wasn't enough to spur me to actually go and purchase the item. There are other things that are, you know, much less expensive that I do the same thing for. And if I think of it, you know, like the next month I'm still wanting it, I will go and get it. But specifically for luxury items, that would be my advice. Have an imagined love affair with it first. And if it feels right and if you still genuinely want it, then go and get it. But only if your other obligations are already met. And then lastly, and this is like a ... finish the thought. Once I was so broke, I got evicted. It is, again, from that college time of my life. I had a good friend who our friendship sort of eroded while we were roommates. So we were decent friends. I would say pretty good friends, actually. We lived in the dorms together, and then we both moved out of the dorms and had different roommates, and then those people found themselves in relationships and they wanted to go move in with their boyfriends. So we both of us around the same time needed a new roommate. So we agreed that we would be roommates with one another. We took an apartment together, and we signed the lease. About 4 months into a 6-month lease, she also got a boyfriend, and he was a piece of work, this guy. So he convinced her that she should walk out of the lease and move in with him. So I'd spoken to her about it, and we had agreed that, you know, she would move out, but that she would give me like a month's grace in order for her to do that, so that she could move out, cover the rent for that month, and then that would give me some time to find another roommate to go in on the lease with me. So I paid my half of that month's rent, which was about $300, and then she skipped out on her half and just left. One day I came home from classes and her half of the apartment was empty, and the next day there was an eviction notice on the door because she never paid her half and she had no intention to. And I was so broke that even though her half was only $300, I did not have the $300 to put. And I was so embarrassed by that. I mean, this could have been my embarrassing story too, that I was unwilling to go to my parents for help. So in the end, what I ended up doing was I got evicted, and then I secured another apartment really quickly through the help of my boss. Actually, I worked at a deli, and she formerly, before becoming the manager of the deli, was a manager at a property management company, and she used her contacts to help me find an apartment, which I put the deposit down on using a cash advance from my credit card. It was a catastrophe. I was broke, and it was just a horrendous situation to be in, but I got through it, and goodness knows I'm the wiser now. So anyway, those are my stories. I do think this is a fun collab. I hope any of you who are running your own channels and doing videos would take up the challenge. I'll post the questions below so you can copy them out of my description box. And hopefully I'll get to see some fresh ones. Thanks everyone, and have a good day.